All right, in this video, we're going to take a look at converting between decimals and fractions. So remember, the word conversion just means you're changing from one form to another. So make sure you put today's date in the top right-hand corner of your notes. So when you're going from a fraction to a decimal, that's what we're going to look at first. Convert from a fraction to a decimal. So to do that, all you have to do is take the numerator divided by the denominator. That's going to create an equivalent number. So for example, if I did 1/2 and I divided it, and we can use your calculators, if you take 1 divided by 2, you're going to get 0.5, or half. So 1/2 and 0.5 are the same thing. They represent the same value. Let's look at another fraction. Let's say I take 1/3. Same idea. Do 1 divided by 3. This one you're going to get a repeating decimal because that 3 goes on forever. So we'll round it to the nearest thousandth. We'll say 0.333. You could also write it as 0.3 repeating. So that line above the 3 means that that 3 goes on forever. What about if you have a mixed number? So what if I had 4 and 3/5? So let's review practicing converting that into an improper fraction. Remember, to convert to an improper fraction, you take the denominator and you multiply it by the big number, and then you add in the numerator. So 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23, and then the denominator stays the same, so 23 over 5. So now I can divide and get 4.6. Notice that the 4 is the same as the whole number there. So if you wanted to, you could just look at the fraction and divide the fraction. We could take 3 divided by 5, and you'd get the decimal and just put those numbers together, 4.6. Otherwise, you can convert it to from a mixed number to an improper fraction, and you'd be able to convert it. All right, now let's look at going from a decimal to a fraction. So we're going to convert from a decimal to a fraction. And the steps for this is really just saying the number out loud to yourself, because it'll tell you what your fraction is going to be. So say the number and determine value of fraction. So for example, if I gave you 0 and 2/10, remember that this is 0 and 2/10. So really what I'm looking at is just this part, 2/10. You're saying it, so 2/10 is 2 out of 10. So this place value is determining your denominator. So the 2 there is going to determine your the place value of tenths is going to determine your denominator, and then the 2 becomes your numerator. How about this one? Here we have 37 hundredths. So again, the place value is determining the denominator. So it's hundredths, and then the numerator is just the number on top. Let's try another one. So here, this time I've got 400 20 thousandths so my denominator is 1,000 because that was the place value, thousandths, and on top is 420. With these fractions though, if you can simplify, you should go back and simplify. So 420, I can divide each of those by 10, so that's going to give me 42 out of 100. And then I can actually divide that again by 2 and get 21 out of 50. Same thing for that first problem, we did 2 tenths. I could divide both of them by 2, that'll give me 1/5. All right, and then what happens if we've got a number in front of the decimal place? So here we have 18 and 32 hundredths. So the 18 is just going to be the whole number in front. It's kind of like when we had mixed numbers before with the problem we did before. And then for the decimal, to turn into a fraction, it's in the hundredths place. So 100 goes on the bottom and 32 on the top. So this is 18 and 32 hundredths written as a fraction. So it's 18 and 32 over 100. So whenever you're going from a decimal to a fraction, you really just have to say the number out loud to yourself. The place value of the last digit tells you the denominator of your fraction, and then the numbers after the decimal point will tell you the numerator of your fraction. And then simplify if you can.